What is going on, everyone? We're here on Star Wars The Old Republic, a very old game, which you wouldn't really be able to tell just by looking at it. I mean, the graphics are pretty good. They've been keeping up to date for the most part. And yeah, this is technically the last bastion of Legends, Star Wars Legends. This game still gets constant story and world updates to the point where, honestly, this is probably the longest running piece of Legends in general, and you could technically, I kind of say this is KOTOR 3. As much as people probably don't want to say that because they hold KOTOR so dear to them, I just jumped off the cliff, man. Anyways, they hold KOTOR so dear to them. This does not play like KOTOR, but when you really look at it, this is just KOTOR 3. Um, I mean, especially after the class stories and the planet story arcs themselves, they're continuations of KOTOR plot points. There's no denying it. You play this game, you actually pay attention to the story that's going on, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And yeah, with Battlefront 2 being so big right now, and with Andor having just finished, people are talking a lot about just Star Wars in general. And we're back to the point where people are like, well, it doesn't matter that Andor was good because canon is bad. And to that point, I think anyone saying that is just stupid. Legends has some trash. A lot of its worst parts can be seen in this game too. Like, a lot of the stuff Disney gets flack for, like repetitive plot points, or like people just randomly surviving anything. Hey, that's all here too. And Disney has almost no influence on this game other than the cartel market, which you see these inspired by. It's literally just the shows for Disney Plus. I mean, like this, the most extent Disney has over it. And to be honest, a lot of these are just like kind of their own thing too. Like in this Imperial Reaper, this is supposed to be Fennec Shand, and it still looks fire. There's Andor stuff. I mean, this is very clearly Andor, like the Corpsec outfit, and like there's Acolyte. They got everything, and obviously those are cosmetic only, and you have to pay real money for those. But that just goes to show this game still gets some support, and like I feel like this might go on for at least another 5 years. I mean, development is ramping down very fast. Like they're pushing out maybe 1 to 2 story updates a year, I think. But there's a lot to do in this game. Like if you're someone starting out brand new, there's 8 storylines to go through, and then there's like 2 halves of the end game story. And then there's the whole Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. That's the most like long and drawn out part of the game by a long shot. But hey, it's still fire. Like, I probably wouldn't want to do those on more than 2 characters just because you kind of, there's just so much there. But hey, and yeah, people do not like this gameplay. It's not, you know, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor gameplay, but it's an MMO. What do you expect? Like, people kind of don't understand what MMOs are. They saw Destiny and that be a shooter, and they think that's how every MMO can be when that's really just not realistic. This character is a Sith warrior juggernaut. This is my current main, I guess. I'm gonna have a Republic main that's gonna be the one that has like my channel name on it. Probably won't do SWTOR content like that, but I just wanted to, touch the game, but play it. Battlefront 2, I would play it, but everyone else is playing it. And I've had my fun on Battlefront 2. I think I'm just gonna wait for Battlefront 3. I think with all these posts, it's just kind of assured the game just broke its all-time play record like today, maybe yesterday, something like that. So I think it's almost assured that after Battlefield, or Battlefield might even be cut short because, we're all wanting Battlefront. I think Battlefield's kind of just a game we've lost to the ages. I mean, after the updates for the most recent Battlefield, people like it, but we'd rather just have Battlefront. I got this cool looking sword. I had one of these earlier in the game too. Only thing is, it doesn't have my color crystal. I gotta take. My inventory's like very filled up, but hey. So we're on Ilum right now. This is after the class story, very shortly after. Um, Probably planning on working through these. I'm in a guild where every week you gotta at least finish your own personal conquest, which is like you play the game a lot, you contribute points. And so to get through that, I just play through some of the story until I finish. So like load this tab, you gotta get 100,000 points. I have 450 right now. All the progress I've made is just by what you see me doing. Missions complete, add to the point. Anyone that's played this game knows what I'm talking about. I don't need to go into great detail about it. This is honestly the only real MMO I've played. The only MMO other than this game I put crazy amounts of time into was DC Universe Online, and I would say that doesn't really count as an MMO. But honestly, there's a lot about that game that I really like. And like the main example is customization. So I'm gonna open the outfitter here so just so I can explain. Okay, they're censoring my sword. So the way DCUO works, you got like gloves, shoulders, like pretty much everything MMO has for gear slots. If you've ever worn a piece of armor, even if you take it up, put it on and put it right off, you have access to that look forever on that character, which is way better than how this game is. You gotta first have the gear, have it in your inventory at some point, and then while it's in your inventory, put it in the outfitter, and depending on the rarity of the item, it costs credits to imprint, and then you get like a bunch of slots for outfits, so that's cool. But DCO also just had like you could display your armor and stuff, your looks in your base, and then that also was just a way you could quick swap between your loadouts. It was just kind of better than this, and that gets me to my next point. I think this game kind of shows a Star Wars MMO can last for a long time, and we've had plenty before. There was like a Clone Wars MMO, there was just Star Wars Online. There was a lot of stuff. Here's Darth Malgus. He's kind of the main proprietor of a lot of the complaints I have about this game, but he's still pretty cool. Um, but what was I saying? So yeah, I think another Star Wars MMO could happen. And if Disney really wants to do something, they could, because the High Republic books are ending. You can go check that out on my channel if you want more. I'm still working on getting through the next book. I promise I've read through part of it already. And yeah, I think a High Republic MMO is kind of the perfect thing they could do because the High Republic books are ending. Acolyte books, like tie-in books, are happening. And then after that, they're kind of done. Unless Jedi 3 focuses a lot on High Republic, which I kind of think they won't. I think they'll go into Sith in that game. The way uh the Jedi games seem to go is there was an ancient civilization that's no longer around, and you're kind of exploring around the remnants of that. And so I think the perfect way to show that is the Sith now. They've done the Zepho and the High Republic. I don't think they're gonna make a new one up for Jedi 3. I think they're just gonna do the Sith. Especially with Cal touching on the dark side. They could really like push him to the brink during that game, make him go to the Sith worlds, learn about the Sith. Have him show up on Moraband, which is Korriban. Moraband has got a reference in uh the book I just read for the High Republic. And there was a dagger in Andor. Now, they could have said it was something else, I don't really know. But there was a dagger that, spoiler, Luthen uses to stab himself. And it's kind of odd. Like, yeah, daggers are just kind of common artifacts. But I think that could have been the, like, Moraband dagger. And, like, he didn't need to be killed by the girl. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. I'm doing like huge disservice to the scene right now. But like he probably if that could definitely be the Force dagger. So now that's just me like being like, yeah, that could be it. That could be it. You know, like any random person would say. But I think we can definitely see more of Korriban slash Moraband. Moraband is kind of the canon term at this point. Yoda goes there in the Clone Wars. That's where he sees the vision of Darth Bane. And, with the Acolyte showing Darth Plagueis, um, they're, the Sith are definitely around during the High Republic. They've been around, obviously. They're in hiding. But other than Plagueis, we have nothing in between Bane and Plagueis. So I think a High Republic MMO could be perfect. It could be set very shortly after, like, it could be set at any point, to be honest. I think the best would be in between like the main books and the Acolyte, or it could be before all the books happen. Either way, I think they could take the devs for this game, reinforce them with a lot more funding, add a lot more to their team, uh, and kind of slow development on this game, and then use this game as kind of a stepping stone. So, best thing they could do, longtime players of this game get like early access to that game, along with all the content creators are going to want to have early access. And yeah, they could kind of just rework a lot of stuff from this game into that game. Like they have a big Mandalorian storyline that's been going on for years because of the show. They could kind of just make all that stuff base game. Like a lot of the features they're adding now could just be base ideas in a High Republic MMO if made by the same devs. Like they have these dynamic world encounters showing up. I think it'd be cool. Like day one, a game comes out and it has that stuff, and there's stuff to earn. Like now, if there's an MMO coming out, I want to be able to spend like 50 hours on just Korriban, on just Coruscant, on just Tatooine. ESO kind of has a system like that. You have a world guide, and then you work your way through that. And if it only takes about like what 20, not even 20. It doesn't take too long to complete a zone guide. But I feel like you could have that, have a lot of things to earn on a planet. Maybe PvP zones on every planet, and every planet has its own ranking. They could do that. You could have guilds taking over planets. You could have like just in the open fields of the planet, you could have a player house. Like players can just build their houses. Stuff like that I feel like could definitely be fun. But honestly, I don't think we should get another Star Wars MMO if it's not just gonna have the utmost like customization. Like we're kind of done with not being able to have our own characters. I think people showed that with Star Wars Outlaws. I haven't played Outlaws. I'm kind of just waiting till it's really cheap to play it. but people really just want their own custom characters, and I feel like a game set in a time period where you know the inevitable downfall of the Jedi is coming, so whatever your character does doesn't really matter. I feel like that'd be perfect. Same with like a KOTOR remake, like I kind of talked about in my Final Fantasy video. Like, all they have to do is really just not introduce crazy things and it won't mess with the lore. Like, the Rakatans, they got referenced in Andor. They can just start freely referencing them now and it really not be a big deal, to be honest. Because what effect do, like, mentioning the Rakatans all the time, what does that have on the main trilogy? Nothing. It doesn't have an effect on the main trilogy until they start saying, like, oh, you know, they had 40 Death Stars and no one's ever experienced the power of a Death Star outside the original trilogy, but then there were Gons who had like 50. Like stuff like that. Obviously, I'm making stuff up just for the sake of my argument, but they could really just do KOTOR, KOTOR 2, SWTOR. Like all these stories can just be canon and very minimal changes need to be made. Also feel like we're kind of past the point now, but they have all of these like inspired by tabs that could have killed in a canon game. Like I feel like people would have loved that. Like we don't have being able to backhand wield lightsabers like Ahsoka. We don't have like a Imperial soldier class in this game, to be honest. And I feel like we wouldn't really be able to have the same dichotomy in a High Republic set game or a game set in a similar time period. But I feel like we could have a lot more like personal story stuff. Like instead of Jedi, you're Force wielder, and then you kind of like either are already part of the Jedi, or you can join the Jedi, or you work with them, or you go against them, or you have like, you know, pilot. Like your specialty is flying ships, so you're gonna do better in space combat, and you'll have abilities based on that. And then, like maybe you could start out with a ship, but on like a force wielder class, you'd have to earn a ship or buy one. Like stuff like that, I feel like could be really cool for. Now, I can't say there's one. So technically, all the classes in this game, their stories are connected. I'm pretty sure it's either consular or agent where you'll really see all of them kind of tied it back together. But basically, I can really speak mostly for the three classes I have finished, which I've been playing with this game for like 8 years now. I should definitely have more than three classes finished, but hey. Anyways, the stories are quite fun to go through. Chapter 1 is always like the most boring, and then it really ramps up, but you really do end up seeing a very similar pattern. Especially once you play through the game once, when you replay the game, you realize, oh, every class goes to the same planets in the same order, pretty much no matter what. Which, it kind of makes sense. The MMOs always have people going through the same zones in order, but I feel like they could probably just work it so enemies scale to you. This game is really one of the only Star Wars games where you can really experience a Sith power fantasy, and it's like that on both classes. You start off, you get like berated by everyone. Like even your masters are always disrespecting you. Like they're always just taking small, cheap shots at you. Like Sith Warrior, you start off, you're like way better than anyone expected. You're killing all your competition. And then you meet your like true master throughout the game, Darth Barris. And like the first thing he does is like you don't even know the Sith code, man. Like what are you doing? And like stuff like that, I feel like is really cool. And we really don't see stuff like that in Star Wars. It's unfortunate Acolyte was the way it was because I really feel like season 2 of that show would have been just amazing, to be quite honest. Like, people don't like it. Season 2 would have been great. Season 1 wasn't that great, but season 2, there was a lot of stuff there. It's really sad we're not gonna be able to see that, to be honest. But, maybe they'll incorporate that stuff into games. Like, we could see what went down with Kyber. Maybe, you know what? If Jedi 3 does have, like, Korriban stuff, they could probably try to find a way to fit, like, a Force Ghost of, like, Plagueis or Darth Bane into that game, and maybe like a training droid similar to the one in like Force Unleashed, and he takes on like the form of Kyber. I really feel like we could have had Manny Jacinto. I think that's the actor's name. Like he was just so good. Him being the like Padawan, former Padawan of Vernestra Rwoh, who was a prominent character in the High Republic books apparently. Like that could have been sick because right now in Star Wars we're at a point where we have a lot of our timeline mapped out, and they showed a like official timeline where it was the Old Republic still there's something that still happens there in the Old Republic before the High Republic. They showed that somewhere. I'm not sure where. So we can I think that was mainly for the KOTOR remake that we're not getting anymore. But there's gonna be stuff there eventually. We're moving forward, but we can also move back. I think we should really be done with the in-between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope stuff. I think Andor kind of capped it off perfectly. You watch Andor, you watch Rogue One, you watch Kenobi, which people don't like. I don't really care. See, like there's the main Star Wars movies, and then there's the extended, which is like I consider Clone Wars, Bad Batch, uh, Rebels, Andor, Kenobi, Rogue One, like Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and uh, the new Mandalorian movie coming out. Like all that stuff, I feel like is extended, like main story Star Wars. But we could also just eventually get extended main story Star Wars post sequel trilogy. Pre, like we have a lot of pre Phantom Menace stuff, but we don't have movies, shows there. We have one show that shows anything before Phantom Menace, and that's Tales of the Jedi. Both the young Ahsoka stuff and the Count Dooku stuff. With the Count Dooku stuff taking place during and after and before Phantom Menace. And then obviously Kid Ahsoka stuff is just because she was a kid. That might have even been like the same time as Phantom Menace, to be honest. Like I was saying earlier, I don't see a world where we don't get like crazy lightsaber customization for a Star Wars game. Like we have that for Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, but the sets are really limited. Like I feel like an MMO can just have infinite possibilities to build a lightsaber. Or, if they're not gonna make another MMO, we could make like short games with like very self-contained stories. Like just following a random Jedi. If they're not gonna do books, which I don't feel like everything should be a book if it's not gonna be a show or movie, make some games. Like give us some. cool like developer spotlights, you know, like we had BioWare, Respawn, one of those two make Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. Find another dev, like maybe give us a game that plays more like Final Fantasy. Maybe give us a game that plays more like, you know, Dark Souls. Maybe give us a game that plays like Assassin's Creed or something, you know. I'm not saying like Outlaws or KOTOR or what we need. I I feel like they could do different developer like spotlights for Star Wars games. Like give a developer a pitch, be like, give us a game in your style with like gameplay that you think would fit this genre and the story, and we'll possibly make a game out of it. Like imagine they make FromSoft Star Wars, which that's kind of a wild thing to say, but they could do it. Like I feel like Disney kind of has that bargaining power to do that. And they could really go any direction with stuff like that. Like there's so much time periods to work with. And when I say FromSoft, I don't mean like Souls. I mean they have Armored Core, which is very cool. We had Star Wars Squadrons, which was like pretty much Battlefront ship combat, well, a lot more complicated. Something like that, I feel like a bit more refined could be cool. Or just that built into Battlefront 3 would be perfect. Anyways, this video is mainly just to kind of yap about Star Wars, and my voice is a bit tired now, and I'm almost done with this mission, so I feel like that's probably gonna be how we're gonna leave off. We have Elden Ring Night Rain dropping this week. I'm very excited about that. I'm gonna be playing that, uploading that day one. I'm not gonna have any interferences. My Fridays are off. Like, I should be able to just play that when I get home from the gym on Thursday night. So, very excited about that. Um, you know, I'm holding out hope that there's a lot of madness stuff. I've kind of been on an Elden Ring lore streak, and if the game has lore that supports like a running theory I have, I might drop it. I might, you know, become a Elden Ring lore person. But I won't get into details of that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna be finishing reading the book, reading High Republic so you don't have to. I think because I'm moving at the end of the summer. Um, once I move, I'm gonna have a bit of free time, I think, or I can make free time before I move, and I'm gonna really I think I want to do a lot more of the reading High Republic so you don't have to. That did pretty good, and I like I like having a purpose to read. Like when I was younger, my parents would bribe me to let me watch the Harry Potter movies if I read the book, and I wasn't allowed to watch the movie until I read the book. And it kind of feels similar now. I can't make the video until I read the book because I quite enjoy like it's time consuming, which is a lot why I like making these yapping videos because they're not time consuming at all. Like I literally just speak and then I can upload pretty quick. But I really like the highly edited, like put together, like it takes time both before and after recording to get it out. I feel like that's my best quality work. So I'm really wanting to do more stuff like that. It's just I kind of I kind of need money, so I gotta work and I have class going on. So, maybe in July that will give me about a month because I gotta pick up the Final Fantasy Magic stuff. I will be doing a video on that. I will be doing a video on FNAF Secret of the Mimic. and doing a video on Elden Ring Night Rain. I'm I'm not sure. I might pick up Doom when I move. But I know once I move, if I get accepted to the school there, that's gonna be my main thing. But I'll have a lot more time. And if I don't get accepted to the school, then I'm probably gonna look for a job or maybe take a month or two just off in general. And then, you know, find a job. But yeah, I feel like there are big things happening with me. Uh, Star Wars has big things happening. I mean, Andor's over now, so the only canon project we're getting is Mandalorian and Grogu, which is about a year away, which is pretty crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm quite excited. It really feels like both the MCU and Star Wars are really picking up its quality over quantity, and the quantity should be extra content, not the main content, if that makes sense. I'm really getting cooked on this. I've done this before. I really don't understand. Why don't I just bum rush the generators? What am I doing? Also, just because we're here in Star Wars, the Fortnite Star Wars season, as frustrated as I've gotten in all my games, it's really fire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm almost Admiral rank, and Admiral rank is kind of where I'm gonna stop. I'm not going for Emperor Dog. Ranked has made me so mad in all the games I've played. Like, I'm really just ready to hit Admiral and kind of just be casual from there. I've completed the Battle Pass. I really just need to get all the Grievous stuff finished. I think I might go and do all the Lego Brick Life stuff. I really don't like Brick Life though, so it's really unfortunate that they took away. Well, they didn't take away, but they don't have another Star Wars update for Odyssey, which was kind of just the coolest part of Odyssey, going through the Star Wars area. Like, it's a mini world. Anything you can like speed through your progress on Odyssey just by going to the Star Wars area. So it's quite unfortunate that they didn't update that. I feel like they could have done something like that again. Using my heroic moment, bro. I'm trying to just work through this. Okay, well, I need my companion healing me, dog. I need my companion healing me. There goes the heroic moment, too. Shield generators are down, though, so I can really just focus this guy and not have to worry about the randoms that were over here just pouring in infinitely. Yeah, I'm gonna kill this guy and then call it there. I think I kind of mentioned this before, but a Battlefront 3, like a campaign where you and your buddies are clones and you follow a Jedi around, and at the end of the game, Order 66 happens and it's a crazy boss fight. Like, that would be so cool, dog. Like, I don't think people really understand. Like, we always see it from the Jedi's perspective, but imagine like you're you're playing the game. Like, you see all these droids, or like you're fighting a battle, or you're just rushing towards a battle, and like there are health bars for the droids, and there's the ally health bar, and then randomly you hear execute Order 66, and then the health bars flip. The droids kind of get ally health bars and run away, and then the Jedi gets the red health bar, man. And you just see like their name appear at the bottom. I don't get it, man. I don't. Like, what am I doing wrong right now? Stop! Stop! Why is my companion not healing? What is she doing, man? I'm gonna call it there. Like, y'all see, my companion's doing absolutely nothing for me. I'm gonna just call that there. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Uh, I'm working on it, man. Things have just been weird. But I'll get stuff out. Don't worry. Call of Duty updates dropping soon. Grief is coming out. I'm looking to get a full squad of my buddies. Maybe play game there, record, and yeah, we'll just see what happens. Anyways, I will see you on the next one. Peace out.